Well, welcome everybody. As always, it's beautiful to be with each of you. Nice to have you here. It's always wonderful to share this space with, so many beautiful awakening individuals. Just want to let you know my heart's with you. My heart's with you. Okay, so we have a retreat coming up in a month from now, November 7th through the 9th, our Being Open and Being Free retreat, where we'll explore this fundamental quality of being open, radically open in relationship to life, relationship to our experience, relationship to others. And so details are on my website about that. And two people said, "Hey, Craig, there's a glitch on your website." And so the payment button is having some difficulty. It was there yesterday. It disappeared today. So I'm sure it'll get fixed sometime soon. In addition, we'll have a in-person retreat in Washington State, January 15th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then at the end of March 2026, we'll be at the Shivananda Ashram in the Bahamas. Okay, so this week, I'd like to continue speaking about the chakras, because the chakras tend to be where Kundalini gets stuck. Maybe where it gets stuck or bound up, or we experience it being pressurized or blocked in one way or another. Last week, we spoke about the first and second chakra centers. This week, I want to speak about the second and third center. And what's interesting about the chakras is they are all each unique centers of divine intelligence. So it's the crown, the third eye, the throat. They're all uniquely different. But also the centers that are close to each other, like oftentimes they have a deep connection. So the first and second have a deep connection. So do the second and third chakra centers. So I'm going to talk about the second chakra a little bit twice today, but in a different context. So I'm going to invite us, just take a moment to close our eyes and feeling into the second and third chakra centers. And I want you to feel into them in relationship to your sense of empowerment. So this basic question, do I feel empowered within my family system, within my relationships, and in relationship to life? It's a question for the second chakra center. The third chakra center is a little bit different. What do I feel in regards to my own personal sense of power? My voice, my divine expression, my outward manifestation of feeling strong and powerful, expressive, my ability to manifest and create in alignment with my own personal truth. And so we see here, we're asking this question, and there's two different ways it can be answered from the second chakra center. How do I feel in relationship? How do I feel within my family system? And do I feel empowered in relationship to life? And as you move up the spine into the third center, do I have this unique personal sense of power, like me on my own in the world? Do I feel strong and clear and vibrant, like a spiritual warrior, walking in the direction of truth, happily expressing my wants, needs, desires, my true wants, needs, and desires in this world? Do I have a good, healthy voice? Do I have a healthy sense of pride? And we're just feeling into that. And you can open your eyes and just have a sense of, okay, I get a sense of those centers. And so I'll speak about them a little bit more, and then we'll have a little meditation here. But the second chakra center, the hara, we spoke a lot about last week in regards to feeling safe in relationship, in our family system, and in this world. This week, I'd like to ask that same question. Do I feel empowered in my family system? And one of the ways that this shows up is, many of us will have, brothers and sisters. And, there's this whole thing in the world of psychology called birth order. It's just like, where are you in your birth order? I have an older brother. He was the first one born, and that one tends to get a lot of attention. I'm the second one. I'm the middle child, and middle child tends to take on this role of being a peacemaker. And of course, that's my vocation is making peace here on planet Earth. The third one, like my younger brother, he's trying to outdo us all. He's very successful in the world of business and finance and this and that. And anyways. And so we look at these things. We look at, okay, our birth order. We look at, how our power manifests in our family. Sometimes we've had an older brother or sister who was narcissistic and kind of beat us up or held us down or abused us. And, when we have this, no matter what the birth order is, like sometimes that can create a sense of being defeated, like being defeated from a young age. And if we have this feeling of being defeated, or if we have, like a low grade depression, or feeling like we haven't been loved by mom or dad or sister or brother, we don't feel safe in the world, we're going to have power that's not, expressive. Often it's going to be imploding. And if you have this feeling of helplessness or hopelessness, very common shadow experiences that arise in the second chakra center. And if we have this, well, we need to work with it from a place of love and a place of empowerment. So, I've always teaching like love is the way, love is the great healer. And with today's teaching, we want to have love just always in the background. But we also want to have a very active, trusting love in the foreground. A love where we say, I love myself enough to speak up and to honor my highest wants, needs, and values. Need to honor my voice. And we really begin to explore with the second chakra center, what is my true vocation? My true vocation. What is that here on planet Earth? And as we move into the third chakra center, have I stepped into my true vocation? Am I expressing it? So many of you here have this thing within you where you realize, oh, I am a healer. And so the journey of becoming a healer and having a vibrant practice where you are offering your gifts in the world and the world is reflecting it back to you, your enthusiasm, your passion in the form of financial support. So we give this energy to the world of offering, our gift, and then the world supports us. And when that happens, we say, okay, the third chakra center is probably very healthy, very healthy. And so when the chakras are healthy, well, Kundalini flows right through them. And Kundalini supercharges the chakra centers. When the manifestation in the third center is unhealthy, I'll give you a fun example of a dear friend of mine. He's in a terrible, abusive marriage. So he has a wife who's just like always dominating and controlling him. And so his voice, his will, his sense of self in his home is squashed. And so he does this little shadowy behavior. He gets online and he's just posting angry memes all day long about, someone that it's safe for him to hate. And, he's a liberal. And so if we're a liberal, the safe person for us to hate is Donald Trump. It's just all day long, he's posting memes, how much he hates Trump, how much, he hates, conservative people or whoever it is, whether it's, Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro, just going after him all day long, posting these memes. And this is a form of shadow power. And a lot of people get in this on the internet. It's you meet them in person, they're sweet and like really kind and gentle. But then they're on the Twitter, just making just mean comments and starting fights and really, being overly expressive, in the political arena or whatever, just attacking someone or something. Now, please, I don't want anyone getting carried away. It works on the right, it works on the left. It's a shadow. It's just a shadow. And Kundalini invites us to really look at our shadows and say, I'm like a really nice guy, but I'm really aggressive online. Like, what's that about? What's that about? Like I have this very physical warrior nature within me. And you guys always get to meet like, sweet Craig, the spiritual teacher Craig. I hope that's true. But I'll go to jujitsu a couple times, a week. And it's like, it's Fight Club, just like we're fighting to the death. I mean, not really, but kind of sort of. And, we get to express, this aggressive aspect of our nature. But of course, that's in a healthy environment where we're all coming and we're agreeing to do this. And we get to play it out. I also get to play it out rock climbing, mountain biking, all these kind of things that I do. And so we want to look at our third chakra center and really ask, is my manifestation of power healthy or unhealthy? Is it suppressed? Is it repressed? Or is it moving in a healthy manner? In a healthy manner. I recently saw Mark Zuckerberg. This was maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I saw him in an interview on the Joe Rogan show. And, he's come to term with that he has this very, very aggressive aspect of his psychological nature. And he, like me, he's fallen in love with jujitsu. He said it's a good, safe place for it to play out. But, when he's running, the Facebook, he said he was getting in a little bit of trouble for being, too aggressive in meetings, or, he'd kind of walk over people or this or that. And if you study his life, you might see that, his great gift to humanity, Facebook, was kind of sort of stolen from somebody. And so that's when it was in the shadow. It's like, oh, these two brothers, I wish I could remember them. They started a cryptocurrency company, I think called Gemini, whatever those brothers were called. Someone knows them. Came up with this idea, and Mark stole it from him. And then he created this, multi-billion-dollar company, and that's in his shadow. And so it's important for us to really look at our power. And often as spiritual beings, I've been really using this character a lot lately, but often as spiritual beings, we show up as this guy, the sweet, solemn, quiet monk. But in this world, we need to have a healthy expression of power. It's one of the reasons why our world is ruled by narcissists who are serving their own interest, is because spiritual people throughout history have been quiet and in the shadows. And one of the reasons why monasteries are all failing, like no one's, building new monasteries anymore. They're all like falling apart and being sold off and this and that. It's because God is inviting, the good monks, the good nuns, to step into power, to step into the world, to integrate with this life. And that's what Kundalini is wanting from you, is for your divine expression to come forward. Now, if we're not out living our highest life, our greatest life, if we're not doing our healing work, we're going to have a deficit in the realm of personal empowerment. And that deficit will create a contraction, again, that the Kundalini, when it's rising up the spine, will have difficulty flowing through. And for many of us in these lower chakra centers, the lower chakra centers, when they're blocked, it tends to contribute greatly to back pain. To back pain. And so, we can have sciatica, like on the back side of our back, we have lower back pain. We have the back just all locked up. That's how mine was. The first 10 years of the path, it was like my back was like, it just felt like a brick wall. And the Shakti was trying to flow through it. And it caused me enormous pain, like just horrific pain. I would be curled up in the fetal position every single day for a decade. It was just so much pain. I'd call on God, God, won't you do something? Will you heal me? Will you fix me? And God was busy remaining silent, not because God had abandoned me, which is again like one of those shadowy feelings that comes out of the second and first chakra center. But God was like the good coach saying, Mr. Holliday, be a man, step up to the plate, face your life, walk in the direction of the truth, speak your voice. But instead, I was repressing all of it and being, the sweet little monk and letting everyone take advantage of me. And more as I did that, and where I had no power, I had more back pain. As soon as I stepped into my power, that back pain turned into bliss, which was the ultimate joke for me because I was in so much pain, debilitating pain. And I spent like tens of thousands of dollars on, all kinds of treatments and acupuncture and visiting chiropractors and massage and all this and that. And all I had to do was step into my power. And of course, that was a big journey for me. That took, about 5 or 8 years to really get the hang of that. And as I did so, where'd that back pain go? It disappeared. Now, for some people, it shows up more in the front, like in the psoas, and the psoas kind of wraps around from the back to the front, going like right through those, the inner loins area and real tender, vulnerable area. And so some of us have pain there. I've met a couple of different people who, were so fearful of this world that they couldn't sit down, like their bottom was just always inflamed, just with tension, with energy. And, it's just like struggling, like they'd have to like lay on their belly all day. It's like, and, I'm laughing, but, it's just like horrific type of pain. But this invitation is to really investigate, what is your relationship with power? So again, we'll close our eyes and we'll take some deep breaths. And I invite you to begin the short meditation with a vision of your highest nature. And so when I ask that question, what is your highest nature? You might see yourself as quietly seated like a Buddha, like a great yogi, a goddess. But I don't want it just to be a Buddha, because our Buddha nature is more like our absolute and yet unborn nature. The second and third chakra centers, I want to invite you to ask, what is my highest expression in the world? Your highest expression in the world. If you could live your highest, greatest life, what would that be? What would that be? Now, if we have an if we have a third chakra center that's a little bit lost in ego, it might say, oh, I want a big house and a fancy car and all this kind of stuff. That's not going to be our highest truth. That's just going to be a ego relative truth of a want. Your highest manifestation requires that you get to know your unique personal spiritual gift, whether that's being a healer, a counselor, a therapist, a singer, a musician, a performer. You know, I've had friends before who were networkers. They were just good at connecting people. And it was a real gift. A real gift. Some of us have the nurse or the teacher, or the good mother, the father, you know, within our archetypal field. You know, protector. I have many friends who are policemen, policewomen. And I would invite you just to feel into yourself and see, well, what is my highest vocation, my highest manifestation? And this basic question, am I doing that? How could I support my truth coming more fully forward? So all the while, we're breathing deeply and fully to the root, into the hara, into the solar plexus, and from the place of love, we are seeing ourself, our highest nature. And you may not know what that is immediately. You may just get a little flash or glimmer in your mind's eye. And we support the second and third chakra center awakening more fully by first getting to know this aspect of ourselves. Secondly, by believing in it. Sometimes within us we have a healer, but then we have parents who said, no, you need to be working in the government because that will give you a good pension or something silly. You know, how sometimes our parents, you know, think in these terms. It's like you just settle. You need to work for a big corporation because that will provide financial security. When you're in your second chakra center and your third chakra center, the second chakra center has this true feeling that it's God's job to support you growing into your highest nature. In your third chakra center, the true feeling is I'm strong enough to withstand the trials and tribulations on this path. And I'm walking forward in the direction of my highest truth. And so we're gently investigating, where am I at on my journey of personal empowerment? Do I feel safe and strong and supported in this world? Do I feel proud of the work that I've done, work that I am doing? Do I feel as if I'm headed in the right direction? Do I know that I am strong enough to continue walking forward? Whether I feel the grace of God before me or whether I feel all alone. And so together, let us take a deep, full breath, gently drawing this Kundalini Shakti up from the earth, up through the bottoms of the feet and the legs, into the pelvis, welcoming this force of light, which is here to empower us on our journey. And so let us fully welcome the movement of Kundalini Shakti as it comes up from the earth, through our feet, through our legs, pouring into our pelvis, into our root, creating a great foundational sense of light at our base. You may even feel as if your legs and feet are rooted into the earth. This basic sense that I have a good foundation here. As again, we take another deep, full breath, drawing more Shakti up the spine, up from the earth, the legs, the feet, to the pelvis, coming into the hara, feeling a great sense of empowerment in the hara. I am strong here in the world. I am stable. The nobility of Buddha nature is radiating throughout the root, throughout the hips, throughout the hara. Burning up any fear or any no that we have toward life, and welcoming an exuberant yes. Saying yes to life. Yes to support. Yes to God's will. Yes to this recognition that God's will and your will are one will. So continuing to draw this energy up the spine, the breathing in and this Shakti coming up from the bottoms of the feet, the legs, the pelvis, the hara, flowing upward into the solar plexus. I invite you to see yourself as a mighty spiritual warrior. Strong, powerful, radiant, having a healthy sense of pride. It's almost like you're sticking your chest out. I am good. The work I do here is good, is noble. I am here as an emissary of light. I am here to share the goodness and the beauty, the peace, the radiance of creation. So really feeling this Kundalini Shakti, a great sense of empowerment, a great sense of strength, a sense of I am true, I am good, I am powerful. Inviting your highest aspirations to come forward and to be seen, to be acknowledged. Smiling at your divinity. So again, let us take another deep, full breath, drawing this energy up from the earth, through the root, the hara, the solar plexus, exploding open with joy in the heart, flowing outward in every direction, continuing to flow up the spine, clearing out the congestion in the throat chakra, flowing up into the space of the mind, flowing out the crown, pouring into heaven, then raining down all around the body. With every breath, seeing this Kundalini Shakti flowing through you as this great fountain of light, this great fountain of power. So we're breathing, we're feeling, we're opening. We are consciously choosing to embody the truth, to embody this divine power. saying yes to that which is good and true and beautiful in our life, and saying no to that which is false, that which is divided, that which is unwholesome. We're taking a couple more deep, full breaths, feeling, acknowledging, and integrating this strength and this sense of empowerment. Knowing and trusting that you were born at this time to face many challenges and yet to arise victorious above them all. Sharing your light, your goodness, your beauty, your divinity, your great compassion in this world. And so with that, we can gently open our eyes, and I welcome you into this space. So beautiful to be here with you. Okay.